Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Masters. Tonight we're going to talk about one of the deepest truths in all of spirituality, and because it's not understood in the West or even studied, it's considered mystical. But it's not mystical at all. And it goes under the heading of transmutation. Transmutation of energy. In order to understand transmutation, and you can even work with it or play with it until you do, it's just meaningless, you have to understand why energies need to be transmuted and what it means to transmute them. Just like everything else in life and physics, science, things reach equilibriums. An equilibrium doesn't mean it's good. Don't think, there can be equilibriums that are very damaging and harmful, but they are in balance with each other. They are a natural state. They're a steady state. That's what equilibrium is, a steady state. Okay? So what happens to the energy flows inside, and there is an energy flow inside, is it finds its way through the different patterns and blockages and nadis, we call them nadis, and it could be neural pathways in the brain, but overall they are energy channels that the energy is trying to flow up. It naturally flows up and feeds you. And the natural flow of your energy is high. I mean, really high. Higher than any drug, higher than any intimate experience, higher than anything. It's just this beautiful, beautiful upward flow. Generally, it goes up the spine through the central channel, and it raises every part of your being as it goes up. So you can't stop smiling, your eyes are twinkling, and you're just high. You're just high all the time. It's just the most beautiful thing in the world. That is your natural state. That is what it's meant to be. You're not supposed to have to ask for that, beg for that, pray for that. You don't need anybody else. It is your natural state. Just like health, doesn't mean everybody's healthy, but health is your natural state. Your body was built to be healthy. When something goes out of whack, your body tries to bring it back in. If some foreign material gets inside, bacteria or a virus, whatever, you have a whole system that your body automatically throws out to try to bring this back into an equilibrium balance of health. Doesn't mean the bodies can't get sick, but the natural state is health. The body can live on little food. It can be a vegetarian. It can be a carnivore. Whatever the heck it is. It's the most amazing thing in the world. The natural state of your body is healthy. Like I said, it doesn't mean it can always do that, but that's what it strives for by itself. It doesn't need you. So it is the same thing with your energy body, with your energy flow. Its natural state is the highest you've ever been and higher than that. Right? You know what your natural state is? Every one of you, at some point in your lives, tries to get so high that you blow yourself away, that you're just not there anymore. You try drugs, you try achievement, you try standing on the stage and playing an electric guitar and have everybody cheer. And it's like people try to get high. Multiply that times 1 billion and have it never stop. That is your natural state. What you are feeling when you feel that rush of energy, that high, whether it be because of ego getting what it wants, whether it be because of some love experience, whether it be because whatever it is, what is happening is at that moment, your energy channels are opening. And the outside world is not making you get high. It is because your mind and your energy channels that are closed open. We'll discuss why in a moment. They open when everybody's clapping you. They open when somebody you really care about hugs you. They open in these moments where you're getting what you want. Your energy channels open, and what you experience is a rush of energy going up. That energy is always there, period. Higher than anything you've ever experienced. There is no reason it's not flowing all the time. It is meant to be flowing all the time. It is not a scenario where you have to sit there and say, well, I have to work for 3 weeks so I can have a nice vacation for a week or a weekend or something like that. It's not a matter of yin and yang. There is no yin and yang in the real state, just like there's no yin and yang in health. You're healthy. You don't have to get sick to know you're healthy. Some people sit there and say, well, you have to know what loneliness is like to feel love. You have to know what down is to feel up. That is not true. That is in the world of mind. In the world of yoga, it's up. I mean, just up, all the way up. All right? Master didn't call it high. He didn't call it joy. He called it ever new joy. Right? Why did he do that? Because people say, well, if you feel joy, you get tired of it. You don't get tired of ever new joy. In India, in yoga, we call it ananda. The word ananda means ecstasy, joy, bliss. that is never ending. It is always new, like the first time you feel it, the second time, the 1,000th time, the 1,000,000th time, it feels like the first time you ever felt it. It's that beautiful, that new, that refreshing. So there is no getting used to it. There is no law of diminishing returns. Not of that. The trouble is we don't feel that very often. Why? Because we're closed. If you close the blinds, the light doesn't come in. If you open the blinds, it comes in. If you close your heart, if you close your mind, the energy can't go up. It's blocked by the closures that are going on inside of you, which are generally your emotions and your mind. They block the energy flow. The reason you know that is because when you get what you want, the energy flows. If all of a sudden it changes and you're not getting what you want, the energy stops instantaneously, doesn't it? It's like a faucet that you can turn on and off. So if somebody walks up to you and says exactly what you want to hear, you get high. Somebody walks up to you and says exactly what you don't want to hear, or doesn't even say exactly what you want to hear, you close. That's how sensitive it is. So there's this handle in there. It's a faucet. When you turn it one way, this energy goes rushing inside. When you turn it the other way, the energy is dead, is stopped. You're tired, you're depressed, you're down, you're not feeling the energy. That's all that's happening. Yoga is the science that is about that energy flow. You don't have a science in the West about that energy flow. The West has embraced the Eastern teachings, but there is no science that came out of the West that is studying that energy flow. They don't even understand it. I was once with a cardiologist in my car, and I remember talking to him, bringing up the concept of energy, from an energy. He says, there's no energy. There is no such thing as energy within the body. There's physical cells and chemistry, and that's all there is. There's no energy. Well, I hope you guys, by the time you make it here, understand he's wrong. There's an energy flow in there, isn't there? Okay? And it can either be flowing or not flowing. But where they go wrong, and I don't want to talk about this, they have the right to be wrong. They have the right to look at things the way they want. Where they go wrong is when the energy is flowing. The energy is of a higher body. It's your pranamaya kosha. It's of a higher body. All your higher bodies are higher. Therefore, they affect the lower bodies. Okay? You know darn well that when you get embarrassed, sometimes your cheeks blush. That does not mean that embarrassment is the tightening of your blood corpuscles in your face. You know darn well it's not. You know darn well there's an emotion inside that you feel first, and it manifests in your body that way. That's what's going on. But if you're only studying the body, because that's all microscopes can see, you would say embarrassment is the reddening of the face. It is exactly the same with all of these secretions within the body, with your adrenaline, with this, with that. It is the result of the energy flow. When you get high enough, you can make it secrete. You can make it do whatever you want. Just move your energy where you want to put it. You can, if your adrenals start getting stressed or high, you can feel the adrenaline coming out. You can stop it. Just change your energy. It is the energy flow that is causing the body to react that way. It's an equilibrium. If all of a sudden you feel fear, the adrenals start secreting fight or flight. The adrenal secretion is not what fear is. You know that, okay? It is because the energy flow is higher. When it manifests, the body attempts to adjust to it. And those adjustments are what Western medicine are studying. That's what they're studying. They're studying the secretions of the whole endocrine system. They're studying the fact that the muscles tense up. Yes, the muscles tense up because of the change in the energy flow. That's why acupuncture works. Acupuncture is not weird because it is all, not all of it. Breaking your arm is not due to acupuncture. Okay, there are physical ailments that literally take place, but that's not what most of that stuff is. If the energy is not flowing well into the body is going to attempt to adjust to the energy flow that's there, as in homeostasis, whatever it's called, right? It will try to reach an equilibrium, and that will cause all those chemical changes and all that stuff. Now, even in the brain, it will cause a change in the brain. They see that, and they say, oh, when somebody's depressed, look what's happening. This is not secreting. This is secreting. Let's go change the secretions of the brain. Does it work? It certainly can do something. Because once you're dealing with the body and the brain and all that aspect, you have changed that. You have not changed what caused it to happen. All you've done is put something on top of it. So you've not changed the energy flow. If you work with yourself and change the energy flow, there is no psychological disease, a problem, issue, other than something that's physiologically wrong with your brain, but that's not usually what it is. Usually it's a psychological situation, right? None that cannot be rectified by working with the energy flow because it's caused by the energy flow. You see it all the time. Go watch somebody you love die in a car accident. Now that did not damage you physically. All it was something that came in through your eyes, and you experienced it. But because you can't handle it, because you resist it, because it's uncomfortable to you, in essence, you can't handle it, you suppress it. You push it away. That suppression of that event causes a blockage in your energy flow. And it causes you to use energy to suppress it. And it causes the energy that's trying to come up, like I talked about, to hit the blockage. The thing that you stored is actually in there. You stored this whole mess inside of you. So now when the energy tries to flow, it is blocked by that boulder you stored in there. Plus, you don't want it coming back up. So you apply all of your willful energy. So you're in double trouble. And so you start getting depressed. You get, it's typical psychology. It's caused by the energy flow. It's caused by you messing up your energy flow. The event did not do that. The event did not do that. Animals live together. They care for each other. You watch that. Things die. They deal with it. They get over it. They don't sit there and become neurotic messes. Deer's little fawn gets hit by a car or something. Things happen. You don't see them moping around for the rest of their lives. But humans do. It is not that the event is any less traumatic. It is the fact that you resist it. You can't handle it. You don't want it to have happened. And therefore, you use your energy, your shakti, your chi. The same, when I'm talking about transmutation, the whole purpose of this talk, if you understand, there's only one energy flow inside of you. There's only one shakti, beautiful flow. Just like there's only one electricity flowing through that walls. You can hook up to a blender, you can hook up to a TV, hook up to a vacuum cleaner. You can do different things with it, can't you? But it's the same energy. This energy, if you want to, you can use it to go into ecstasy. That's what Buddha did. Went into nirvana. Okay? That's what Christ did. Man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that leaveth the mouth of the Father. He's talking about that energy flow. Once that starts flowing inside of you, there will be no question in your mind or ever again for the rest of your life. That's what that man's talking about. All right? Well, I guess it's happening inside of you, and it's coming from a place beyond the Father, whatever, right? It's coming from God, it's coming from the high spiritual state, and it is flowing down inside of you, and you're now living off of that instead of living off of hugs and kisses or winnings or clappings. Man does not live by the outside world alone, but by all the energy flow that's happening inside. So it's all the same energy. If you want to use that energy to suppress things that you didn't like, and then not only are you using your energy, your willful energy to do that, but also the rest of the energy is trying to come up, can't come up, because you just dammed it up by shoving this thing inside. You did that. That's not your natural state. Your natural state is ecstasy. Your natural state is Satchidananda. Every one of you. Eternal conscious ecstasy. That is what you're supposed to be feeling. That is what was meant for you to feel. That is the natural state of your being. But you have blocked it. You've blocked it with this act of suppression, of repression, of resistance. Call it whatever you want. Freud said repression and suppression are just different stages, different intensities of what you're doing in there. Resistance handles all of them. If you're driving behind a car that's driving below the speed limit, you're in a rush, you're not suppressing, not Freudian, and you're not repressing, Freudian, but you are resisting. You are messing with your energy flow because you don't like what's going on. So you're pushing it away. And you're wasting energy by saying, why is she driving like this? This is ridiculous. I wonder who that is. I'm going to pass them and see what it is. Probably it's an old person. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it's somebody talking on their phone. You can't handle the event, so you're wasting your chi, your shakti. That exact energy that's making your mind be neurotic is what is supposed to be making your heart get filled with love. None of it is innocent. There is energy inside. The question is, how are you using it? In events like that, look how you're using it. All right, so now we've laid the groundwork. I set down the gauntlet of what is supposed to be going on and why it's not going on. So let's move toward transmutation. So what happens is if you store enough of these things inside, the energy cannot flow properly. Period. It's blocked. There's all these rocks in there. So it has to find a pathway. The pathway it finds is your personality. Not I'm going to call that the personality. It's the pathway it finds expresses itself as your personality. That's what decides what you like, what you don't like. What do you mean? How can it decide that? It's like a robot. If the energy flows in a certain way, the robot will behave and move a certain way. That's all. Just pass it through a circuit board a certain way. It's going to behave that way. All right? Really, if you know about computers, there's these gates. These transistors are gates, and the energy will flow either path through them or not through them, right? Very, very complicated. I mean, you deal with a 16 gig of memory. You're dealing with 16 billion gates, all right? But you're talking about all these pathways that can either be open or closed. That's why you hear computers are binary. So you have that many pathways, and open and closed, you can get a lot of combinations of behavior patterns. Well, that's what you've done. You've stored this stuff inside of you. These things that happened that you didn't like since you were little, the events that somebody didn't drive right, somebody didn't say a nice thing to you, somebody blah, 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 blah. It teaches us all the time. A whole bunch of that stuff in there. So you've stored that stuff in there. It will, in and of itself, block the energy flow. Why? For the same reason the Hoover Dam blocks the Colorado River. Because you put the darn thing right in the middle of the river. Okay? If you move, I'll tell you what, we'll move the dam 5 feet away from the river. It won't do anything. Will it? All right? Your stuff that you shove down there, all this resistance, I don't care if it's repression, suppression, or just resistance, it is shoved down there. All right? It is right smack in the middle of the Colorado River. All right? I'm telling you, you've shoved that stuff right down into where your energy, you don't know it. You don't know it. Nobody knows this. All right? It's shoved it right down to where your energy flows. How do you get to know this? Because you start working with it. And with every one you let out, there's a little more energy. And when the yogis let enough out, they went into caves and just let their stuff go. You don't have to do that, but they did, and just tried to work themselves through. They started feeling all this ecstasy. Every one of them wrote the same thing. And you'll see that then if something happens and it affects you and you can't deal with it, your energy slows down and maybe even stops. You get a direct one-to-one correlation between what are you doing with these blockages and what is happening with your energy flow. So what happens is by the time you're done storing enough stuff down there, which is kind of a daily factor, isn't it? Every single day things bother you and you push them away. All right? How do you know? Because if somebody says something to you and they start to approach you tomorrow, you start getting weird before they even walk up. If somebody says something to you that you think might not have been said nicely, but you're not sure, and then 2 days later you're with a friend and they mention that other person's name, you get weird. I like the word weird. It gets weird. Star Wars, there was a disturbance in the Force. Yes or no? I'm not saying it's big. I'm not picking on you. I don't care if it's the tiniest thing in the whole world. It does move, doesn't it? What does that prove? It proves it's still in there. Do you understand that? It is still in there. And your energy was flowing a certain way. And when that thing gets activated, the energy tries to flow through it. It's almost like somebody mentioned the name. It swelled up a little bit. So the energy got affected by it. And you felt that. You're all yogis and yoginis. You're all feeling this stuff. You're just calling your feel. I'm in a mood. No, there's no moods, there's no feelings, there's no any of this junk. There's either unblocked energy or blocked energy. Okay? If I take all the rocks out of the riverbed, it flows smooth. There's no eddies, there's no currents, no ripples, is there? If I just have a completely smooth riverbed, no rapids, nothing, it just flows. Take one rock, even a pebble, and put it in there, and ripples start. Put some more in there, and eddies start. Put some more in there, rapids start. Currents, and all kinds of stuff. Do you understand that? That's exactly what is happening inside of you. There is a pure energy flow that should be flowing up. Every single thing, I mean the tiniest thing. Brush your teeth and think that maybe there's something looked a little brown, and I like trying to get white teeth, and this is not quite as white, right? All day you'll feel weird. And if you hadn't noticed that in the morning, it wouldn't have happened all day. Do you understand? I'm showing you. Every one of you are dealing with this energy. This is not, oh my God, I don't feel the Shakti. You do so. It just doesn't manifest the way you think you want it to. So the energy comes up. You keep storing this stuff inside, so the energy can't flow right. All right? What do they tell you? Your first laws of electricity. Path of least resistance. You ever hear about it? Water flows through the path of least resistance. Electricity flows through the path of least resistance. Your Shakti flows through the path of least resistance. Your energy inside of you will try to find ways around your hardest blockages. Little spot here, little spot there. That's why you behave the way you do. If you see somebody over at the department store shopping and somebody's over there and you've heard about that person and they're better looking than you, or their figure's better, or they're sharper dressed, or whatever it is, right? And you were going to go over there and buy some clothes, you don't go. You wait till they leave. Don't blush. You do all kinds of stuff like that. That is that energy finding the path of least resistance and manifesting in your behavior patterns. And that determines what you like, determines who you like. Those patterns determine who you're going to marry. And those patterns determine when you're going to get divorced. If somehow somebody shows up, male, female, I don't care. All right? So for some reason, the way that person has their hair, the fact that they're this, but whatever the heck it is, or a combination of what they said to you, the way you met them, who knows? And I'll tell you right now, meet the person that you think you're going to marry this person. And you fall in love with them because you bumped into them in Publix. And just, oh my God, all that happened, right? Tell the story. I'm going to tell you a secret. 3 minutes before you walk into a Publix store, go have a pizza that the pepperoni's bad and start getting a stomach ache. You ain't loving this person. You ain't meeting them and nothing's happening. Or get a phone call from your parents yelling at you or saying something really nice about you or telling you, oh, they just met somebody. Come home, darling. Hey, do you remember right from high school? He's asking about you. You're not going to meet this guy. It's like your energy flow is everything. It determines everything. You don't determine anything. You don't determine anything except what you resist. That's what you get. You got the job of either accepting or resisting. And from then on, forget it. You don't stand a chance. It's going to be the path of least resistance. So the energy will flow in certain circumstances, and if it makes it through, you feel good. If it was flowing reasonably and then it gets stimulated worse and it blocks up, you feel bad. And that's why you're attracted to somebody and why you're repulsed by somebody else. It is not something you decide. It is something that you decided a long time ago, starting at youth or before, all right, of what you blocked in there is going to determine how the energy flows. And you, I hope you don't, I don't mean to blame you, but if you're a normal human being, and don't ever be a normal human being, look what a mess they make, okay, you will follow that energy flow. Blow in my ear, I'll follow you anywheres, criticize me, I'm out of here. And that's how you are. And you devote your life to trying to find things that will make your energy flow nicely. And you devote your life to trying to avoid things that will screw your energy up. It has to do with understanding what has happened. You have blocked your energy flow because of this stuff you have stored inside of you. So now the energy can only flow under certain circumstances, and they're pretty rare, by the way, right? Go on, get into an intimate situation and have somebody just whisper, just say, just for a moment, not say something exactly the way you want to hear it with the right tone in the right way at the right time. You're closed. It doesn't take much, does it, to turn you off? This is your blockages, and the energy manages to flow around them as long as nothing hits them the wrong way. And unfortunately, if it hits them the right way, you got stuff stored in as positive, you're leaving your family for the tennis coach. And you got all kinds of answers. Well, I haven't felt this for so long. It was so beautiful. I can't deny myself this. I just don't feel the love I used to. I have the right. That's how people talk. Instead of dealing with what they should be dealing with, they are letting it deal with them. I hope I'm getting nice and personal. Okay, I want you to understand you're all yogis. You're yoginis. You are working with this energy. Either you're working with it or it's working with you. Okay? And then you end up with all these likes and dislikes, correct? And you end up identifying, well, I'm the kind of person that likes this. Oh, I never liked that kind of thing. And you're proud of yourself. You're proud of your personality. You know, in high school, you talk about, she got a nice personality, he's got a nice personality. Ready? There's no such thing as a nice personality. They're the result of these blockages, and now you've built this thing that you sell out to everybody to try and, what are you trying to do every moment of your life? Get things the way you want so you feel better. That's all you're doing. That's why you dress the way you do, why you drive what you drive, who you hang out with, everything. To try and get things to happen that make you feel good and try to make things not happen that make you feel bad. It's constant, all right? You've devoted your life to your blockages. But they don't understand that. They don't understand. It's just the way I am. No, it's not the way you are, all right? It is what's happening inside of you because you blocked your energy flow, all right? So transmutation of energy is as follows. Somebody does something outside. It stimulates one of your blockages. Next thing you know, see, a lot of different things can happen. I want to talk about that. What can happen because a blockage gets stimulated? All right. Well, one, a blockage gets stimulated. You know, somebody mentions that they saw your stepfather and you never liked him, right? And he's remarried and they look really happy. All of a sudden you start getting all depressed and bad, right? Or you did like him, you start getting excited. Where? Yes or no? Okay. It's like, it doesn't take much. And so this thing gets stimulated and it's going to affect your energy flow. It either moves aside and lets energy flow because there's an openness, or it becomes inflamed, if you will, and therefore it blocks your energy. You start getting down and depressed and tired. Master Yogananda, you say there's no tired. Energy can't get tired. Now, your body, if you push it too hard, but in terms of you inside, getting spacey, getting tired, all of it is due to the blockage of your energy flow. When you wake up in the morning, you know what it should be like? I'm back! It's just so excited and filled with energy, and it stays that way all day, period. There is none of this stuff. What you're doing is you've blocked your energy. And so because the energy can't come up, your mind gets tired, you get spacey, you get in moods, your heart hurts. That's all blockage of the energy. But instead of working with it as blocks of the energy, you try to make the world behave a way that doesn't do that. You try to get people to talk to you the way you want to be talked to and treat you the way you want to be treated and give you the job you want when you want it and have every single thing be the way you want, because otherwise you're not doing okay. You sell out. That's like a complete sellout. So what happens is that one thing the energy can do when it gets blocked is go down because it's blocked, so no energy comes up. There's another thing it can do. It can come up. It's just like the electricity in a wall. If I create a short circuit, I could cut it far enough to where no energy flows and it just is dead there, right? No energy goes past that. Or I cut it just right and sparks start flying all over the place and the wires start jumping. Same thing inside of you. That's what anger is. People have trouble with anger. What is anger? All anger, everything. It's all the same thing. What is anger? It is the Shakti, which is ecstasy. It's Christ's heaven and Buddha's nirvana blocked. You go right now, the Colorado is well behaved because they put this dam up there and they're really taking care of it really well. All right? What happens when they first started putting stuff in the way of that river? Whoa. Energy flying all over the place, right? If you're blocked, that energy can start sparking as it tries to get past the blockage. Instead of being blocked so there isn't any, there's lots, but it's just flipping out and flying around. That's what anger feels like, isn't it? It just starts going, ooh, ooh, like that. Sparks flying through you. You can't sit still, and your mouth wants to talk and tell him. That's anger. That's the exact same Shakti as love. That's the exact same Shakti as nirvana and ecstasy. It's Ananda, but it's blocked. So it manifests that way. Everything you experience is the same energy manifesting in a different way. The point is, every single bit of energy that you're experiencing inside of you, all of it, the ego rushes, the ego depressions, the this, the that, all of it's just energy hitting blockages and manifesting in different ways. Anger is a good one to talk about because human beings, they don't understand. You don't have to have anger. Psychology will tell you anger is normal. Anger is not normal. That's like go to an electrician and say short circuits are normal. They are not. Something's wrong. It's not like you just have to learn to live with short circuits. Live closer to a fire department or something, right? Get more, extinguishers. No. Short circuits are not normal. You're not supposed to be feeling that. You're not wrong because you don't feel guilty, but that is not a natural state. It is a state of blocked energy. The exact energy that is manifesting inside of you is anger can be causing ecstasy flowing up inside of you. And that's what's meant by transmutation, is that you're taking the same energy, but instead of leaving it on its own to create a mess because you messed it up, you do work with it. And all of a sudden, that which started as anger, you can do it anytime you want. You have to learn. That which starts as anger turns into love. Literally. Somebody's sitting there telling your boss is sitting there yelling at you, telling you stuff, and everything he's saying is bunko, and he told you to do it that way, and now he's saying he didn't, and he's trying to blame it, and oh my God, there's stuff's going on in there, right? You just learn to say, okay, baby, we're going to transmute this stuff, right? And you start breathing and releasing and relaxing, and all of a sudden, he's adorable. Look at him. And you just feel all this love and joy. You hear me? When Master came to America, Yogananda, he taught at Carnegie Hall, lots of places, in 1932, whatever it was, early in those days. He wore a turban. He was a yogi. And they packed Carnegie Hall. There's pictures of him, this little tiny yogi with all of Carnegie Hall filled. My understanding is they wrapped around the block 3 times. Couldn't get in. That's who couldn't get in. That's how popular his teachings were. And there's a placard outside. Swami Yogananda teaching control of the life force. It's everything we're talking about. I call it Shakti, call it life force. Chi, call it whatever you want. There is an energy flow inside of you, Right now, you have no control over it. Your whole body, your mind, your heart, your emotions, they're appliances. And this Shakti flow, this chi, if it is not flowing well, that stuff's not doing well. It's manifesting in accordance with the disturbance of your energy flow. So transmutation of energy means working with the energy itself so that it doesn't manifest in its, I'll call it natural, but its equilibrium way, the path of least resistance. There are people who say, I have the right to be angry. Look what the kid did. It'll teach him, it'll show him. What? Oh my God, it's disgusting, isn't it? That's because the whole of the being has reached an equilibrium state to where these are my thoughts, these are my emotions, these are my actions. They perfectly fit the energy flow. The energy flow is blocked. It wants to manifest as anger. Therefore, these are the words coming out of my mouth. These are the stuff that's happening. And it all, boom, takes place all at once, doesn't it? That is the manifestation of blocked energy. That's what anger is. The manifestation of blocked energy. So transmutation does not mean suppression, does not mean denial, does not mean guilt. What yoga says is, yes, you have anger. You are not angry. There's anger happening there, and you're noticing it. And you don't know how to deal with it because the energy is blocked. And so the only way you know how to deal with the energy when it's blocked is to release it. When a teapot starts boiling, you better be someplace for it to whistle out. Otherwise it's going to blow up. You're the same. If that energy is blocked, it builds up. It wants to release, doesn't it? Okay? So you go there and you get angry. Okay? And you feel better. I feel better now, dear. The net result is, do you understand anger now? That's anger. There's nothing else to learn about it. Okay? It's not why did you get angry. I know why you got angry. You're blocked. You're blocked. Somebody stimulated the blockage. The blockage may have nothing to do with what just happened here. It could happen to do when you're 6 years old. You blocked yourself. And now the energy can't flow right. And something happened at work and you come home and something else gets in and builds up inside of you. Next thing you know, you're blowing up. And what does psychology teach you? Find a nice way to let it out. That's okay. That's better than hitting them with a frying pan. Better is to understand what's going on. What's going on is you're blocked. The energy is sacred. It can flow up and create beauty. If you block it, it can become a terrible force. But you did that. So the answer for anger management is go to the root. Release these blockages. Learn to work with the energy so it is not getting stuck behind these blockages. And learn to work with the blockages so that you're letting them go. There won't be any more anger. Those people who say to you, anger is natural. They don't know what they're talking about. Love is natural. Way more natural than anger. Because love is what happens when the energy is not blocked and it makes it to the fourth chakra. But notice that's the fourth chakra. And there's 7 of them. So whoa. Okay, I told you you're a high being. That's what's natural. So don't call it natural just because everybody's blocked at that level. Oh, everybody feels anger. No, they do not. You will reach a point where you never feel anger again for the rest of your life. You don't even understand what it is. You don't understand why you ever felt it. It's just nothing, right? Instead, there's this love. There's this rush of beautiful energy happening inside of you, period. But that's not going to happen while you leave yourself blocked. So our starting position is there is an equilibrium. I told you equilibrium doesn't mean good. You are living in a state of equilibrium. All right, watch this. You have anger, you have fear, somebody's wife left them, they're drinking, but they can still go to work a little bit, but they have to have a hit every once in a while. That's an equilibrium. They found a temporary equilibrium that makes it so they can tolerate going to work, they can tolerate that their wife left, and make it healthy. Over time, it's not going to be very good, all right? But at that point, you tried to balance things, didn't you? So that you could get away with it, all right? So you have reached an equilibrium, and the equilibrium is your personality, your entire way of life, your entire way of what I like, what I don't like, what I want, my hopes, my dreams, my concepts, my views, my beliefs, my opinions, who I like, who I don't like, what I like to wear, what I like to drive, what I don't like to drive, whether I like traffic or not, whether I like every single thing. It's just not you. It's an equilibrium that took place because your energies are blocked certain ways, and therefore certain things make it through and other things don't make it through, and you're trying to tolerate. You're trying to get by. You're trying to find a way that I can get by and not be too freaked out inside. And that becomes your personality. And that becomes who you call you. It's not you in any way, shape, or form. It's no more than a robot with a circuit board inside, that this is how the things are flowing. So at some point you wake up and you realize, I am not going to waste my life trying to match my problems. I'm not going to let this stuff I stored inside of me that is screwing up my energy flow so I can't feel the joy and love that I'm supposed to be feeling tell me what I should be saying, what I should be doing, where I should be living, where I should be going, what I like, what I don't like, whether I can be happy, whether I have to be scared. There's no win there. So now, how do you get the stuff out? How do you get the stuff out? One, can you? Yes. Yes, of course. You are in there. And I'm telling you, you're the boss. You're the boss of yourself. You may not be the boss of somebody else, but you're the boss of yourself. And that will, that strength, that power that you have inside of you is more powerful than any energy that can move inside of you. But you are not anywhere close to dealing with that. And so the path is not for me to yell at you and say, you should have been able to do that. That's ridiculous. The path is exactly the same as when you go and work out in the gym. You know, at first you can only pick 100 pounds, and I can't tell you go pick up 200. You should be able to do 200 but with your weight and your size. It doesn't mean anything. All right, can you pick up 100? Yeah. Can you pick up 100.001? Yeah. Sure? Yeah. By the time you pick up 001, it'll be 002 and 003. And I'm not in a rush. You start practicing, just like you practice playing the piano. Just like you practice any other instrument. You practice a sport, don't you? You practice tennis. You learn things, okay? You can learn to be in charge inside yourself. You just do it slowly. You just commit yourself to each day. There are going to be things that happen that hit my stuff. Big things, little things, they hit my stuff. Are you willing to look at that with the tiniest one? It's raining. I don't want it to rain. I hate it. I hate the rain. What are you doing? It doesn't stop the rain. All you did was make it so you have two problems instead of one. There was a problem that it was raining. Now, it wasn't raining inside. You live inside. It's never raining inside. But you screwed up the inside because of what's happening outside. The rain did not do that. You do it yourself. You complain about the rain inside when it's outside. I'm begging you, start changing how you deal with the energy flows. There are these patterns, and they express themselves. You suppressed all this stuff, so they express themselves a certain way. Somebody else says, I love the rain, because they grew up in a certain place. Who the heck knows? You follow me? It's just the patterns you stored in there are talking through your mind and expressing themselves through your energy bodies. Don't let that be what it is. It's just so you simply sit there and say, I would rather, more than anything else in the whole world, to experience the freedom of that energy flowing up without anything blocking it. I think I'll devote my life to that. I don't care what it is. I am going to experience what it would be like that nothing was blocking that energy and it was free to flow. I'm not going to make it flow. It flows by itself. But I'm going to stop blocking it. I'm the one who's blocking it. All right? I'm going to learn. I'm going to learn how to do this. I don't care what method you use. You use God, you use will. I don't care. It doesn't make any difference to me. But the point is, you decide, I'm going to work my way out of this. And that's the purpose of your life. And so what happens is, it starts raining, and you catch yourself. That's your beginning of your way. It's not how many hours you can meditate or anything like that. It's that you caught yourself when it started raining, and this noise started going on inside your mind. I've taught you where that noise came from. That noise is those blockages expressing themselves. That's all it is. It's not you, all right? It's just the release of these energy patterns coming up in your mind and in your heart. So it doesn't matter what you like. It doesn't matter what you don't like. It's not you, it's them. It's just the block. And so it starts complaining about the rain. You catch it. You notice. That's called witness consciousness. You notice, there it is, complaining about the rain. You notice what's going on. Then little by little, you start working with yourself. You start working to raise yourself. It's not a struggle. It's not a guilt thing. It's a tiny little thing. Each day, each moment, you have an opportunity. So when it's raining and it starts this stuff about the rain going on inside, you decide, I'm going to do something with it. Lately, I've been teaching some basic techniques, not the kind of things you can hang on to, say I'm doing them, I'm not doing them, but just basic techniques. If I'm in there and my mind is expressing my garbage, that's what it's doing, is expressing my garbage, saying, look how she's driving, oh my God, I need to go faster, this is ridiculous. She's driving 10 miles over the speed limit. Look, there's a sign right there, 55, and she's going 30. Then you read, what is that? That is my stuff blocking the energy. Why don't I just enjoy the ecstasy of driving the car? And it's slower, good. It'll take longer to get there. It's fun, right? No, because this noise has to express itself because it's an opportunity to release the blockages. That's all that's going on up there. Now, You sit there and you say, do I want to be like that? Not who do I want to marry? Not what career do I want? Not do I like my job? That's the same blockages expressing themselves. That's how you decide who you're going to marry. That's how you decide whether you like your job. It has nothing to do with you. It has to do with this garbage and the conditions that you've had. Instead, you ask, do I want to be like this? Do I want to be weird because it's raining? Do I want to be weird because it's windy? Do I want to be weird because it's humid? Do I want to be weird because the weather forecast is next week there'll be rain? It's not even happening and you're weird. Do I want to be that weird? Or do I want to work with myself? Do I want to be able to handle the driver in front of me? And you start saying, yeah, I think that would make life a lot nicer. I tell you right now, those things will make life nicer than who you marry. Not all marriages work out so good. All right? This always works out good. You liberate yourself. You work with yourself. You free that energy. Now you're working directly with the problem instead of working with something that you think will solve the problem. Do you see the difference? I'm not telling you not to get married. I'm not telling you not to have a relationship. I'm not telling you not anything. I'm just saying, wake up. You do not want to devote yourself to your garbage. So, okay, so now it's raining or you're driving behind somebody. You catch yourself. You catch the mind releasing the garbage, starting to release the garbage. You can do stuff about that right there, right then. The ones I've been teaching lately is big categories. Positive thinking. It's just a technique. It's no big deal. If the mind is sitting there saying, I don't like the rain, just say, I do like it. Just sit there and say, I love the rain. It doesn't mean you feel it. It doesn't change everything. It just gives you an alternative thought pattern from the garbage that's just expressing itself. If you just fell in love and you met this special person and you're just flying high and you walk outside, it's raining, you love the rain. Oh my God, it's so auspicious. That's what they say. The rain is auspicious. It's beautiful, right? If you just broke up with your boyfriend and he dumped you and you walk outside, I hate the weather. Even the weather's against me. Do you hear me? You can decide what your thoughts are. They're your thoughts. Right now, they're not your thoughts. They're your lower self's thoughts. It's expressing, releasing these energies you blocked. It feels better to complain. It feels better to complain. I don't like it. I don't like what he did. You feel better. I feel a lot better now. Of course, you're trying to release the energies. They found a way that they could flow, even negativity. Negativity, you get together and gossip and talk to each other and you feel better. That's why. Because you're releasing the energies that are pent up inside. So instead, you go in there and you say, I have the right to think what I want. I want to think nice thoughts. And so you just start saying, I love the rain. I love the rain. It flowers. It waters all the flowers. What's the matter with me? It waters the forest. I love the rain. It's beautiful. Just say it enough times, you'll start to feel it. You understand that? Just like say the other enough times, you'll start to feel it. You have the right to think positive. Just start doing it. It takes some effort. Why? Because the equilibrium of the path of least resistance is not that. It's the releasing of the energies you stored inside. Do you understand that? That's why there's this resistance. It's the resistance because the energy is used to flowing a certain way. All right? So you start working with yourself. You start using these teachings, and you start creating positive thoughts. Higher than positive thoughts is mantra. Why is mantra? I don't know. It's some weird. It has nothing to do with a weird mantra. It has to do with training your mind to repetitively say something very neutral over and over again. So instead of this garbage that's coming up in there, you say, Om Namah Shivaya, Guru, Om, I used to do God, God, God. If you're not into any of that stuff, just sit there and say, I love it, I love it, I love it. I can handle this. I don't care what you say. Just train your mind to say something over and over again. Doesn't that sound stupid? No, it's the smartest thing you'll ever do. Why? Because then when you're driving that car and the driver in front of you is being weird or it starts raining and this expression of the path of least resistance starts puking all over your mind, all right? You all of a sudden in the back, in the higher mind, you have this thing going on. God, God, God. I told you, I used to do that back in the 70s, all right? I didn't carry it all the way through. I did other techniques. Today, I never even think about it. If I'm walking, we take walks in the morning, and I'm not talking to somebody, if nobody walks with me, I'm not paying any attention. Every time a foot goes down, God, 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 God. This is 40 years later. You can train your mind, right? It's really very smart. Let's get this thing going in there. How? During meditation, say it. When you're driving in the car, say it. Just instead of doing the garbage that would be going on in there, do something constructive in there. Train your mind to say this thing over and over again. And then when you find yourself in a situation where your lower mind is expressing itself, you have a choice. Hang out with it. I hate the weather. God, God, God. And pretty soon you can hang out with that higher one. Why? It's a lot nicer. Your consciousness, would you rather live in an apartment that's all filthy, dirty, and roaches and things, or in a nice, clean apartment? Would you rather live in a thought pattern that's negative and putrid and reminds you of every bad thing that happened to you? Or would you rather live in a nice, clean environment inside of you? Your choice. You do that. And then ultimately, you will reach the state in your spiritual growth where you're not, you do all these things at different, you're advanced in one area, more advanced in another. So one area you use positive thinking, another area you use mantra. When it's all said and done, the highest thing is relaxation. That is, I'm telling you, I don't know if anybody else teaches you, I don't care. The highest thing you can do in the face of that noise is relax. Why? You're not the noise. You're noticing the noise. If your mind is in there complaining about the weather, you know it's doing it, don't you? You who knows, you who sees, the witness, the consciousness, the self, you in there, just relax. That's the highest thing you can do. Higher than positive thinking, higher than mantra, just relax. Just relax. What do you mean relax? I can't relax, it's negative. Yeah, well, learn to relax in the face of the noise that the mind is making. Learn to relax in the face of the pain that your heart is feeling. Oh no, yes. What do I do about this pain in my heart? Relax. See, I can't teach you that because you don't want to do it, all right? If I sit there and say, be positive about it, sit there and say nice things, think nice things so your heart feels better, I ain't going to teach you that. You can do it. You can do it. It's good techniques. It's better than getting depressed. But I want you to walk up to me and say, my boyfriend left me and what's happening and I don't know what's going to happen and I failed this grade and I'm scared now about his future and my heart is just burning. And I'm going to sit there and say, relax. And you're going to say, I can't. And I'm going to say, that's just like saying I can't stop smoking. You're in there. You're the one who's experiencing the pain. Relax. Just let go. Relax. You're scared to do it. Do you understand that? Because it's difficult to experience, you want to fix it. And one way you fix it is suppression. The other way you fix it is expression of manipulation. But hell, if you're going to sit in there and let go. All right? But when it's said and done, if you relax, what's going to happen? There's a reason that heart's doing that. There's a reason that mind's doing that. I taught you that all night. It's those blockages. That's what's happening. All right? They're getting blocked and the energy gets hot and it gets weird and there's eddies and currents and all kinds of stuff going on, right? If you relax, not only do you extricate yourself from the immediate situation without suppression, you just stepped back. But by stepping back, you allowed room for the blockage itself to come up and release. So when you're having a tough time, it's actually a good thing because it means the blockage is ready, it's ripe, it's manifest. But you can't handle it. So instead you try to push it back down or you try to change the situations outside of you so they're more comfortable. A wise person does not do any of that, ever. When I mean a wise person, I mean a yogini, a spiritual person. Sits there and says, if it can hurt, it's because there's pain inside. Something inside of me is expressing what I stored in there. I don't want it in there. I'm willing to go through anything. No matter what it feels like, no matter what it is, and no matter how long it takes, I'm just going to relax and release, and let this natural process of purification take place. Your mind and your heart do not want those blockages in there. The energy flow does not want the blockages in there. It doesn't want to hit those blockages. It wants to flow. So like any other energy, it wants to be free. So it's pushing them out, and you're pushing them back down. Understand that? You're doing everything you can to not experience what it's like to release these energies. And so you start practicing little bit. Don't get scared. Just little by little. Just tiny. The car in front of you, the weather. Somebody didn't say hello. God, don't worry. All day you'll have opportunities of stuff that makes you uncomfortable. At least start to relax with the tiny things. The little tiniest, please. The little tiniest thing. Sally didn't say hello, but you weren't sure she heard you. Relax through the pain. And by learning to relax through that discomfort, you will be able to, just like lifting 1 pound more, an ounce more, right? You'll be able to handle another one, then another one. And pretty soon you'll start to get strong in there because you're not being affected by this weakness. And pretty soon more will release and you'll get stronger and then a bigger one will come up. And you'll say to me, I don't understand. This situation happened. It used to bother the hell out of me. I didn't even notice it. That's not due to suppression. That's due to release. And then you start getting all this energy and this beauty inside of you. And eventually, it takes time. If you will do this natural process, eventually, you just all of a sudden a bird will chirp or you'll see something and your heart will just burst open. Oh, this love will just well up inside you for absolutely no reason. And it'll happen more and more and more, and then it will never stop, ever. until you decide, no, I'm giving up the love because Sally didn't say hello. Really? I'm giving up this beautiful experience of love because it's raining on my birthday. I don't think so. And you start saying there is no situation ever again for the rest of my life that I'm not letting go. If it's in there and it can move, it's going. Right then, right there. No question, no discrimination, no choices. If it moved, it's in my way of where I want to go. And then you're going to find out that if you do that, not only do you get high as a kite inside and get filled with love and joy, but somehow people around you get better. It's like the energy coming off of you raises other people. And then you start noticing that somehow life is unfolding by itself in a way that you never would have dreamt of, or even, and you start, ooh, I am going to touch this stuff. It kind of knows what it's doing, right? It's like, well, I wonder what, it built the whole universe. That's like, think it's mystical that life knows what it's doing. Wouldn't that be weird, right? 13.8 billion years ago, there were a bunch of hydrogen clouds. They made themselves into this. There were no people here. It made the people. I think it knows what it's doing. What about you? Right? And you start leaving it alone. You just keep letting go inside, and you will find out that what is meant to be will present itself to you. And you want to express yourself, to work with it, to bring the beauty and love, and it all becomes this perfect unfolding of your inner being with the outer flow. Lao Tzu called it the Tao, the way, the harmony. Now that equilibrium is the ultimate equilibrium. Now there's nothing in the way, and it just unfolds. You don't need to talk about it. You don't need to teach anything. You don't need to do anything. It just all happens by itself. So that is transmutation of energy. The energy that was anger becomes love. The energy that was blocked becomes open, because you keep letting go. You just keep relaxing and releasing, R&R. They write me from all over the world now. I got a big beautiful thing from Germany yesterday. She says, I'm R&Ring, and she could tell she was. I'm R&Ring through every single thing, every moment of my life. It made me cry, right? She says, every transformation you talk about is taking place, right? I had a beautiful energy inside of me, right? So you're all capable of that. That's who you are. All right. Very good. Jai Gurudev.